and thrive in chaos. Interesting. Let's welcome CJ Ang. Over to you, CJ.
Thank you. All right, thank you for having me here. Now, can I just have a show of hands? How many of you are here to learn how to be a better versions of yourself? Anyone? Okay, great. Thank you. We're in the right place. So, no, it's easy to think about how you want to be a better version of yourself when things are going easier, when things are going smoothly. It's a totally different equation when things are a bit more uncertain, the future is not clear, and things are a bit more challenging. So how many of you are committed to be a better version of yourself despite all that challenges? Anyone? All right, thank you. Right, so we're talking about how to accelerate and thrive in chaos. And just what Keith mentioned, I'm a bilingual facilitator. I'm a coach in English and Mandarin. I've been doing work in Asia Pacific. I lived in China from 2004 to 2020. Oh, by the way, my first keynote that I did was in 1992 when I was a 19-year-old private in the Singapore Navy. I was asked to talk about something about work improvements for the then Chief of the Navy. And I didn't know that that was a keynote, and that was my first keynote. And then I did on to many other things. And also I do coach. How many of you are coaches here? Wow, great to be in great company. And of course I got a book about selling in China. Now, a brief summary of the last couple of years, the last 3 years. So we got COVID, we got war somewhere, we got some economic turmoil, and then we talk about VUCA, and suddenly VUCA is not the buzzword anymore. The new buzzword is bunny. It's about being brittle, and anxiety, anxious, non-linear, and incomprehensible. Kind of a somber mood for this morning. So despite all these difficulties, what we are going to think about is challenges happen all the time. The question is, how do you face up to the challenges? So the challenge, over the past 3 years, some of us may have, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. And some of us are recovering, some of us have recovered. And the key thing here is not about being recovered. We want to get better. It's not about just nursing yourself back to health. It's about how you achieve post-traumatic growth. Right? Enough of that mental healthness. It's great. The question is, what do you do going forward? So what do we do next? So when things are chaotic, one of the key things that you can do, yesterday we heard about Ollie talking about your sphere of control, your sphere of influence. So start with the parts that are within your control. And by control, given the things are so turbulent and unpredictable, even if it's for a week, can we focus on those little things even for a week? And this is how it looks like. Now, how do you thrive in chaos? Traditionally, what we do, whether you are working towards a goal, you're working on a project, whatever it is, you have a goal. And then you map out the steps. You have a fixed timeline. And it goes step by step by step, and you reach the goal. That was what things were traditionally. Today, you may have a goal. And in fact, this goal, this target, this purpose could be a moving target. It's not even fixed like this. It's moving. And you don't have established steps. And what you do is you try to figure out your way, and you may take some wrong turns and left turns, and you try to go towards your general direction, and you make a few more off turns, and eventually you get to your goal. We innovate, we adapt, we become agile along the way. So, and how do we do that? Now, the key thing is we talk about the goal. And the plan may change, but the purpose that you want to achieve should not. So what is the purpose that you want to have? Begin with that purpose in mind. Now, in coaching, we always talk about it's not about the goal itself. It's not about what you want to do. It's about what happens when you achieve that. Why that goal in the first place? And what happens if you don't? What is the meaning of that purpose to you? Why is it so important and sometimes meaningful for you? So begin with that first. And in that sense, in that purpose, it can be multifaceted, it can be multi-dimensional. So the first part is, as we all do things, think about a business. Does it make financial sense? Now, some of us are professional speakers, trainers, coaches, and all that. Some of us work in companies, some of us work in charities and NGOs. It is even more important if you're doing something that is for a nobler cause. If you're doing charity, think about a business. Not so much about how to make money out of it, but you need to make sure that you got enough funding. You need to be careful about the finances, especially if you're in an NGO. You got to be transparent about the finances as well. So think about, in business sense, does it make sense financially? The second part is about organizing. Now, if you work in a company, what is the optimal organization that you want to build, you want to work in? If you are a solopreneur, if you work alone, how would you like to organize yourselves with your partners, with our stakeholders, and sometimes even with your customers? The third part is in terms of your purpose, how would you want to become? How would you want to develop yourself professionally? That's probably why we are here today. The fourth one is about in the personal sense. What gives you a deeper sense of fulfillment? This morning we talked about, we are a bunch of crazy people, like what President Siva is saying. We pay for the hotel, we pay for the convention, we pay for the flights and everything. And then we come here, we talk for free. Not only we talk for free, I was doing registration for free, I was doing emceeing for free, carrying chairs and doing popping for free. Yeah, so what is the kind of deeper meaning are you looking for? Actually, I don't know why I'm doing that, but there must be some unconscious deeper meaning for me. Anyway, what gives you a sense of deeper fulfillment that you will do, that you will go the extra mile doing that. And it actually gives you fulfillment, happiness, and something more profound, more noble for you, and something that you may want to search within you. And the fifth part is about a team. Now, about this convention, we have a great team. We have a great executive committee. Every one of us are busy. In the last 3 years, we are kind of affected by COVID. And this year is what we call revenge time, right? Whatever happened in the last 3 years that did not happen last 3 years, everything happened all at once in the first 6 months of this year. So everybody was like busy doing leftover work that was supposed to be done, backlog work that was to be done over the last 3 years. Everybody was busy, but still we came together as a team to contribute whatever we can. Some of us are busier than others. Some of us are busier on certain days and certain things. Some of us can do something, some of us committed to something and eventually could not do it. And instead of blaming each other, we kind of just help out and just make sure that the show went on. And how so far? I just want to do a survey. How is the show so far? Good? All right, we had a good team, right? Just checking. And also, even for our registration team yesterday, some of us stuck in the traffic jam. Some of us are in a hotel already. So we just find out, even without the printed name list, we think about how team members can count on one another, right, to succeed, to make sure the team succeeds. So it's about the teamwork. And in a team, it's always about, yeah, sure, I want to count on my team member. And can your team member count on you as well, right? So that's about on team. And the underlying basis is it all sustainable? So there's an old saying that success sometimes is a marathon, it's a long-term thing, it's not a 100-meter dash. But on the other hand, in these days, if you're doing things like design thinking, if you're doing things like agile, we talk about sprints. We talk about, we can do sprinting. We can just do a series of 100-meter sprints staggered over a period of time. And we can always sprint in different directions, in different ways. And you can have sprints, you can have marathons. Question is, take breaks in between. Don't have to kill yourself trying to reach a goal. And sometimes your ultimate goal, your ultimate purpose may take years to realize. Grant was talking about his book that he took years to get it ready, right? And we even have other people who are creating products that really took years to get it ready. So it could be a long process. You may want to have sprints. It could be a marathon. Take breaks in between. Don't kill yourself for it. And at the same time, we may take the wrong turn. Sometimes some things don't turn out the way we want it to be. We may let down some of our customers sometimes. We may be ourselves being let down on our own. It's a matter of reflecting what went well, what's not so good, what needs to be improved, and how do you want to proceed further? How do you want to be that little bit better the next time you try it out? And it's always the old adage, what doesn't kill you will make you stronger, right? Provided if you reflect in retrospect. Otherwise, well, what doesn't kill you will just keep on killing you and killing you until you die, right? So that's the thing about it. You learn from the disasters that happened before, right? So, the movie Everything All at Once, and sometimes it's the same feeling as well. Everything seems to be needed, done all at once. It's like your clients want something from you, your partners want something from you, your family wants something from you, and they all want it like that. Right? But you are the guys, you're the person that is doing the thing. So you may want to, and actually you need to prioritize. And how do we prioritize? In the old days, you talk about what is important, what is urgent, but there's a different way of prioritizing. Right? There's a Muscal way of prioritization, and you can do this on a weekly basis. Why weekly? It's a kind of time frame that's not too short, not daily, but not too long like Monday. So it's about what you want to do for the coming week. And the Moscow is not the Russian Moscow, it's this. The first thing is, what are some of the things you need to get done this week? You need to do this week. And what we mean by must. Must means if you don't do it, you die. Period. Oh, no. Must means if you don't do it, you'll die a very horrible death. Right? So that's the meaning of must. If you don't get it done, it will be absolutely disastrous. So yeah, die must do. Yes, that's right. It's another must thing, right? So that's a must. Two is what happened? The second part is about should have. Right? Shoulds are, how many wheels should a car have? 4? Can a car drive on 3 wheels? Yes. But preferably you want to drive on 4 wheels, right? It's got better performance, and of course the traffic police won't find problem with you. So you got to drive on the 4 wheels, but in a very extreme situation, you can drive it on 3 wheels, and that's the metaphor I'm using for should have. It is not a must, but if you don't have it, it's gonna look bad on you. But in times of emergency that you are really short of resources and all that, yeah, it's somewhat a bit negotiable. So there's a must, a should, and of course there's something that you could do this week, as in, if you have done all the musts, you've done all the shoulds, you want to make things even better. You want to impress upon a certain customer, you want to just score higher marks on certain things, so there are certain things that you could make it better. And of course there will be things, and we talk about priorities. Priorities means there will be some things you won't be doing. It's not just about what you want to do, it's about what you are not doing. And the things that you won't have is not about the things that are not important to you at all. It just means you're not doing it this week. You may want to do it next week. You may, after a few weeks, find that it's totally irrelevant and forget about it. It may have, talk about VUCA and unpredictability. What you won't do for now, in the next week things change, and suddenly it becomes a must-have 2 weeks later. It could be that way. What we are doing is just thinking about what are some of the things that you are not doing this week, because it's going to take away time, resources, effort, and energy away from the first week. Right? So that's something to think about when you start out the week. Now, by the way, I'm just talking about prioritization, and while I was waiting at the side, I got this training request to say time management, and asked me whether I can do it. I said I can't. I'm very horrible in time management. Right? And then the reason I'm sharing this is a way of prioritizing. We're not saying you need to stick to a certain schedule. It's about what you want to focus on for the week. And just to straighten out and make your life better and hopefully your work more productive. And that's the whole idea, right? Some goals, as we mentioned, take longer than others to reach. Some goals take years. Some goals, you can just achieve it in a day. So if it's going to be a long-term goal, you may want to break it down, the larger ones, into the smaller ones. Like, things may change. Large goals become smaller goals, and sometimes you may even change your goals in some extreme situations. Things may change, but keep your intentions and purpose clear. That's what we are always talking about in coaching. What is your intention? What do you intend to do next? What does it mean to you? What happens when it's done? And why is it important that you get it done now? Right? So always asking yourself, why are you doing certain thing? What's your intention? Right? And when we talk about acceleration, and we got F1 drivers yesterday, we talked about racing yesterday. Now, acceleration does not have to be going from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 6 seconds. You don't have to do that, right? You don't have to be an F1 driver. Acceleration means you are just going a little bit faster today more than yesterday. You're just going a little bit faster tomorrow than today. You make just a little improvements over time. That's how you accelerate. You don't need to compete at a pace that you don't want to. You set your pace, how you want to accelerate, and sometimes even decelerate. Right? It's about how you want to pace yourself. Sometimes you go faster, sometimes you go slower. It's about how we adapt to the situation. And we talk about compassion. We talk about being nice to yourself yesterday. We talked about self-compassion. We should also think about how you celebrate your success. Even for very small things, as you manage to get certain things done. You thought that you're going to be late for some deadlines, but somehow you beat the deadline. You had some good feedback from a certain customer. This was maybe to some of us, your first keynote somewhere. It's something that you did that probably in the whole scheme of things doesn't really matter too much, but still, it's your effort. You had a good result. Give yourself a pat on the back. Be kind to yourself. And if there's no one else to give you encouragement, give yourself some encouragement as well. Right? So, before I end, something just to think about. What's your key takeaway today? Not just from my presentation, but also from yesterday, from today, for the rest of the convention. So what is one thing that you can do and you can put to action so that you accelerate? And even if it's chaotic outside, you thrive in the chaos.